We want to keep all of the panelists and speakers on their toes for 15 minutes or so while you, the audience, have an opportunity to do some rapid-fire questions, pick their brains a little bit, and see what useful information you can glean from these very accomplished entrepreneurs. First one over here. Please go ahead.
Thanks, Mike. Just a quick question. How did you guys choose the names of your companies? Right? Hootsuite, Vision Critical. I mean, these are great names. Right? And names usually tend to give a customer a sense of who you are, but Hootsuite, right? Vision Critical, Market Research, I thought it was an iCompass.
You want to go first?
So they're all great names.
Well, I wish I could take credit for ours. A guy named John McEwen from Discovery Capital Corporation, which is a VC, had the name, but you can't be a VC and have a company whose initials are VC. So he had it laying dormant, and we were throwing around ideas, and when he put it up in the air, I batted it down pretty quick and said, I'll take that, that's good.
Hootsuite started under a different name. It used to be called BrightKit. We launched it in December of 2008, and unbeknownst to us, there was another group with a very similar name, BrightKite. And we ran for a few months. They kind of reached out to us and said, hey guys, looks like we've got similar names here. It's going to be confusing. And so, again, we crowdsourced a name. And so we had about, I think, 50,000 users at that point. We messaged out to our users, hey, we need to find a new name. Find a domain that's available and a cool name, and we'll give the winner $500. And so somebody came up with this. Super great guy. He actually just asked us to donate it to a charity, and we took the name, and the rest is history.
Okay, we have another question ready to go.
Hi. Yes, this is for anybody who wants to answer it. After you guys proved your technology and you actually had something that you could go out and sell and you really started ramping up, could you guys talk about how you went about staffing up, who your key hires were when you first started out, and how you went about finding those people, recruiting them, and retaining them?
Who wants to start with that? David?
Given I have our actual recruiter here, I can mention that. So we are actually looking for, well, one thing is mentioning in crowds like this, that we're looking for electrical and mechanical engineers, sales reps, business development people, marketing people, finance, we need a VP finance, so a few other things, that helps. But from the very beginning, probably the very most important part of my job was finding the people who are going to build the company. And to say one position or another, I guess that's always changing for what the most important position of that month is. But it's something that it's so hard to get right, but so expensive to get wrong. So we talk about hire slow, fire fast is our general approach to it, as much as possible. But it's a huge deal, and sometimes it's tempting when you need 15 people now to do something, to just say, oh, we'll lower the standards and bring some in, but that'll get you in the long run.
Actually, that's an excellent question about HR, and just coincidentally, tomorrow at 3 o'clock at the Seagull School downtown, there's a little workshop on HR and how to get started, especially if you're a startup and you've never thought about what it takes to recruit someone, do's and don'ts, some lessons learned, and just a good tutorial. In fact, you get a complete kit to help you go down that path of starting to recruit up to 900 or more employees. So yeah, you're welcome to join us. That's tomorrow at 3 o'clock at SFU Seagull School. See me after if you need more details on it.
Yeah, if I could add to what David has said, we exceptionally disciplined in who we hire. Sure, and I'm sure everyone would say the same thing, but we don't hire candidates if they're at 80 or 85 or 90% fit with the role. And in fact, the matrix that we use is that person has to be a great fit on both the culture side of the business as well as the role fit. So we're very disciplined about that. If it takes an extra 6 months to find the right person, it's way better on the business long term to not misfire. But equal to that, we also, I think all of us would probably share this, at any given time we're looking for people in sales and marketing and dev and so forth, although we may put priority on certain positions over others at any given time. So we might have postings out for primarily salespeople this week and something else, a month later. When a great candidate comes along and they are a great fit for a role that you don't necessarily have advertised, but you know that they would be a great fit with the company long term, really challenge yourselves on whether or not it makes sense to pull the trigger and bring that person into your organization. Our product manager has been with us for 5 years. He's an exceptionally talented individual, and when we hired him, we weren't looking for a product guy. So we brought him in, and we had him doing all kinds of other things that were, sort of related to product, but he was able to learn the business and plug himself in other ways, and we were able to add a star to the team. And over the 5-year period, he's grown into that role that he's really, really passionate about. So if that great candidate comes across your desk, don't be afraid to find a role sometimes for that individual in your organization.
Okay, great, thanks. Another question lined up.
Yeah, the term licensing came up a few times. I'm just wondering what was the most important aspect in growing the business in regards to licensing your product?
Who mentioned that?
I mentioned licensing. I think in the early days, you're trying to pay the bills and you're just trying to figure out ways to grow top-line revenue, and that's all that matters. The minute we started talking to pretty sophisticated people in the finance industry, the counsel was that one-time services revenue walks out the door every time that project ends, and recurring licensing revenue, the multiple is sky high on. So we quickly realized that, especially in the world of market research, where traditionally you're doing $150,000, $200,000 big projects, and everyone high fives and gets excited about those projects. Vision Critical now would prefer to have two $3,500 a month licensing deals instead of that money, because that's going to be there tomorrow, that's going to be there next month, next year, and the year after that if you do your job right. So when you start looking at long range, the long range view we needed, and we're lucky because we have a blend, so we're able to use our one-time services revenue to grow and to help fund our product development, which then in turn gives us the licensing revenue we need. So did that answer your question?
What was integral in terms of that growth with the licensing in particular?
I guess it was kind of like a teeter-totter in that we started on the all services teeter-totter. We realized that if we wanted to be more than a company with a 1 or 2x multiple attached to it and build a really great company in today's competitive world, we needed to have a strong licensing base. And so for us, it also just was necessary to justify the R&D spend. So when the R&D, I guess the magic number was when our R&D spend got up above a specific number, we realized we needed that recurring revenue to justify the spend.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Andrew. Another question is lined up.
Hi there. I'm interested in hearing about profitability in foreign markets. If anybody can give some comments about profit centers or maybe where it was unexpected as you expanded into other markets, I'd be interested to hear.
Well,
don't go into France.
Who's the most profitable here?
You never make money.
Profit?
Do you want to take this? Sure. Well, as I said, we started with a very conservative model. And we early on decided that we really didn't want to do anything which didn't make money. So we had strong filters set, and we typically will set a gross margin range and will qualify a product based on that, irrespective of where it was sold. And we stuck to that, and we have been profitable from day one to 88 quarter history every quarter. So we have been able to follow that. And it has become a culture in the company now.
Can anyone else speak about tiered pricing in foreign markets where they can get higher profit?
We're really early. in Japan, in terms of actually monetizing, we're really early right now, but we do have a reseller there. They're not a licensed reseller. They're basically on kind of on waivers and have a 1-year contract to prove out how good they can do with the product in terms of repping it. But yeah, don't really have any hard data there yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, for us, it's a little tricky because it's even regional in different sectors where, one, the cost burden for us to get into different markets changes a lot and has a big influence on our profitability. So it's not even international, but just choosing different verticals. So I think the filter is an important thing to find where it really makes sense to go. But it's not like there's one country where it's way more profitable for us than anywhere.
Okay. Did we have another comment or go to the next question? Okay. A stockbroker friend of mine once told me, don't worry about profits in a tech company. Tech companies are just for buying and selling, not making a profit.
Where's he now?
Still a stockbroker.
Hi there.
Question.
This question is for Ryan from Hootsuite. I just wondering, how did you go about launching your product when you had your agency, and what were some of the challenges to running an agency and launching a product at the same time?
So yeah, Hootsuite came out of an agency. It was a solution to a problem that we had. We were working with a lot of clients doing social media work and needed a better tool. But there was tons of problems. I was working 5 jobs. I don't know. It was, it was fundraising. It was being a product manager. It was, we had a small team, smallish team. It was 7 people from our agency working on our product. Our agency was 21 people, so we had 1/3 of our workforce working on a 0 revenue product for a year. So we bootstrapped it for a long time, and there was a lot of pretty dire implications to our agency. It was really tough at a certain point. So when we finally closed our round, it was a pretty good blessing. We were able to do a lot with that. So now it's 2 separate companies. We spun out Hootsuite as its own standalone company, and Invoke is doing really well now. It's on great ground, and so I, in terms of myself personally, I'm still a partner and founder and shareholder in Invoke, but I'm on day-to-day, I'm working on Hootsuite because it's a massive green field for us right now.
Okay, we're almost out of time, so let's have one more question and then wrap things up.
Thanks, Mike. My question's for David. I understand your business has to do with IT and power conservation. I had the opportunity to work with a company in France this summer who actually wasn't making money, but they were trying different things, getting some traction in that space. And I heard you say, just try doing things. That made me very nervous. Where's the business model that we need to know right off the bat where this is going? So I wonder if you have any comments on that initial process. Did you know exactly what the opportunity was when you started, or did it evolve, and how did you keep going through that?
And you have 1 minute to answer that.
Okay. Well, it started when I worked in France for 3 years and decided I never wanted to start a business in France. But it really is just a question of narrowing the world to something smaller and smaller. So at the start of 2006, it was energy. Then in the spring, it was energy in buildings. And then at the end of 2006, it was software that helps buildings to be more efficient. And then it focused on the algorithms that could identify anomalies and give those tools back to facility managers. So it's really been a continuous narrowing in. And then now we're looking at, okay, what are the other bits that we need to add? But the iterations of just trying stuff has been really important to inform our decision making, just to have the data so you have something more than just a bunch of guys on a whiteboard with great ideas in isolation. So it's really that combination. But just I'm a big believer in failing fast as well and just getting on with it and trying it again.
Okay, thanks, David. It'd be great to have more time, but unfortunately we're out of time.